Donovan Mitchell went off for 29 points, and he is really putting on just a clinic so far in the postseason. He's averaging 29.2 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists. He's shooting 31% from the three-point line, which is like 5% lower than he typically does from the three-point line, so he's not even at his best. But he's shooting 46.8% from the field collectively. He's just playing great basketball. And he's taking over in a way in which you want a superstar to do. And Donovan Mitchell, to me, is not in that top tier category. Devin Booker, KD, Anthony Edwards, of course, at this point in time. Steph Curry still. But he's in that next group of players that you would also probably include a guy like Jalen Brunson. And the more I've thought about Donovan Mitchell, and there's been a lot of conversation, like if you listen to any of the Bill Simmons or Ryan Russillo content that they put out, that he's probably going to get traded this offseason.
There was a report, I think it was before last night's game, where it was if the Cleveland Cavaliers do not win the title, like the expectation is that Donovan Mitchell will ask for a trade.
And more specifically too is he may not even ask for a trade, but he might just directly tell them, I'm not signing a contract.
I'm not re-signing here. So
yeah, like maybe if I hit free agency, like we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but
so you do the math.
Yeah, you do the math. It means he's not coming back. So he's going to become available, my belief is, this offseason. And the more I've thought about it, I'm like, okay, this is everything you want Jalen Green to be. Or this might be Jalen Green's peak, is what Donovan Mitchell is. So would you rather have Jalen Green, who could be Donovan Mitchell, or would you rather just have Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, and a team that won 41 games this year, just missed out in the East play-in tournament, and you want to take the next step. I mean, I think Tillman Fertitta and Rafael Stone and Ime Udoka has been clear about that since Udoka got hired, that this is phase 2, Joe. This is phase 2.
Phase 2.
And we're ready for liftoff.
And I think they're ready to skip phase 3. I don't think that those reports from The Athletic about the trade deadline are crazy when it's like, were they thinking about making a big move? They want to accelerate this whole process. Donovan Mitchell is what accelerates the process. And I was playing on the trade machine, or not the trade machine, the lottery machine earlier today. Yeah. Look, crazy things can happen. On like the fourth one I did, the Rockets got the first and the fourth pick in the draft, which means they kept their pick from OKC.
Yeah, so to keep the OKC pick, the Rockets need to finish in the top 4, and no matter what, they will get the Nets pick.
Yeah,
which is slotted in to be 9th. I think the Rockets pick is like 12th.
Yeah, it's projected to be 12th right now. So whether you get a top 5 pick, top 10 pick with the Brooklyn one, it's an asset that you have that a team like Cleveland could need. And I think a guy like Jalen Green, honestly, is a good solution for them.
Yeah.
Because it's Cleveland. Who wants to live in Cleveland? When has Cleveland ever signed anyone of relevance? What they acquired? They got Kyrie in the draft.
Yeah, they traded for Kevin Love, and they traded for Donovan Mitchell. And that's pretty much the list of stars that have gone to the Cavs, unless you want to throw in washed-up Dwayne Wade, who only played there for half a season.
Yeah, and to get a guy like Kevin Love, they had to give up a guy like Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, they had to trade the number 1 pick.
I mean, he took his preseason photos in a Cavaliers uniform. That's how long it took for them to get the Kevin Love deal done. That he took photos as a Cav, and then they traded him.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of move that would make a lot of sense for Cleveland as well. Of, okay, what assets can we get for Donovan Mitchell? A top 10 pick and Jalen Green and maybe another future asset or two. And I'd be comfortable trading some of the Brooklyn picks. And if you get really lucky, you could end up with 2 top 4 picks. Hell, you could just trade both those and Jalen, and I'd be fine with that too. But Donovan Mitchell is the kind of player that's going to be available this offseason that I would want if I'm the Houston Rockets. I would rather have Donovan Mitchell than Kevin Durant, 100%. Kevin Durant is not the player that he once was. Kevin Durant is old. He's always hurt. And the Rockets need a player that can be on the court, healthy, and help you win basketball games. And also try a little bit on defense. And KD does none of those things. Like, I don't want KD. I don't want Bradley Beal. Donovan Mitchell is who I want because Devin Booker is probably not going to be available this
No,
offseason.
I think if you're the Suns, what I think, and they fired Frank Vogel last week, and Shams has basically gone with they expect to hire Mike Budenholzer, so it's not official,
Yeah, but
but
it's happening.
yeah, when you already have the replacement like less than a week after you fire the other guy, I'm guessing
24 hours?
yeah, I'm guessing
Vogel got fired last night.
oh yeah, officially. Yeah, I
Like,
wasn't-
I mean, Fizdale's already David Fizdale, the former Grizzlies head coach, is already moved to the front office
yeah.
because he's not going to be on Budenholzer's staff.
Yeah. So I'm let's go operate under the assumption that Budenholzer is going to be their coach. They're probably going to try to run this thing back at least one more time. At least take it to the deadline this season because they're already so pot committed that even if they trade all these guys, like it just ruins your franchise, and you might as well just try one more time. So realistically, the Suns guys aren't available. And so when you look at the guys who are available or are expected to be available, it is Donovan Mitchell, it is Paul George, who's likely to be a free agent and can still re-sign.
Pass.
He hasn't signed already.
Over Mitchell, at least. If you're gonna add to this team, not take away from the team. You know, like if you're gonna keep Jalen Green,
it would have to be a sign and trade
of
some sort because they don't have
and that means
space.
Fred VanVleet's gone.
Yeah, either him or Dylan, likely.
And you probably need to add more because like the Rockets don't have a ton of guys that are expensive besides Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
A couple things here. And Fuentes says they'd want Green and Şengün or Jabari.
Who?
The Cleveland for Donovan Mitchell.
Then they're not going to trade Donovan Mitchell because no one's giving him that. No one's giving him the equivalent of
because
that.
the Rockets have a top 10 pick, and that's why Sunday will matter a little bit. We'll do that. Jonathan Fagan penned an article for the Chronicle today, already talking about how that's pretty much the Rockets' plan is to trade their first round pick.
Yeah, because they're
looking for assets, not players.
Yeah, they don't know what this team doesn't need. Another 19-year-old.
Yes,
that's what this team doesn't need. So
they don't need another person in their locker room that can't drink alcohol. They need someone that can help them win games. And a 19-year-old in a awful draft, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's what that's where I would be open to this suggestion that they might need to add another piece. I don't think it would be Şengün or Jabari though.
No, I mean, what you
That's not who I'm asking for if I'm Cleveland.
Who are you asking for?
Cam?
I mean, I'm not saying yes. But.
Okay, so if Cleveland said the only way you're getting Donovan Mitchell is Jalen Green
plus
the
another
Brooklyn pick plus one more player. And it can be dealer's choice. Alpi, Jabari, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore. You have to include one to get Donovan Mitchell. Are you including one of those? And who? Or are you passing on Mitchell?
What I would do is I would start listing off all the Brooklyn picks
What about
that the
Tari?
Rockets have.
Yeah.
And just be like, how about 4 Brooklyn picks? How about that?
Yeah.
You see how awful they are?
What if it was Tari? Tari, Jalen, and Brooklyn's top 10 pick.
I would say Tari would be to me the most available of the core 6 in addition to Jalen that you're already throwing in there. And one thing about Jalen Green is that he literally plays Donovan Mitchell's position. So if you're a Cleveland, you already have your shooting guard of the future, and the I guess right now the second and third best players on the Cleveland Cavaliers are Darius Garland, who's 24 years old, and Evan Mobley, who I think is 21. He was in the same. He was picked one pick after.
Yeah. And they have Jared
Jalen
Allen.
Green.
Because like the text line says here, Cleveland doesn't need another big. I tend to agree with that.
Yeah. That's also why they wouldn't want Şengün. It's like where do you play all these guys?
I could see Jabari be like they could find a way to be creative with him. Also because even though technically they don't need another big right now, they could easily move Jared Allen to a veteran team. That's also, I mean, hell, he could come back in the deal with them, honestly, and right the wrong that so many people thought the Rockets made when they didn't get Jared Allen the first time when they traded away Harden. And then the text line here says Mitchell ain't taking you to a championship. Okay, maybe he's not, but I don't know if Jalen Green is either. And to me, Alperen Şengün is what's taking you to a championship.
Yeah, and the idea is that Could you um could you kind of approximate in some way the Jokic and Jamal Murray pairing, or the uh I guess Sabonis and Fox if you want to aim a little lower, but can you get the big man passer with a very scoring guard that can shoot, that can dribble, that can pass, that can do that can do all the things that Donovan Mitchell has done the last 5 games. I mean, you look at his last 5 games. It's 28 points, 50, 39 in a game 7, 33, 29. So
Yeah.
this is a guy who, like you said, has played himself into being a target, as someone that you would want to target, and I am in the same boat as well, where he has now become such a not just it's not just that he's playing well, is that he consistently plays very well in the playoffs.
Yeah, people forget what he did in Utah.
Yes,
He was a monster for
he's
Utah in
had
the playoffs.
I mean, his rookie year, he had 38 in a closeout Game 6 win against the Thunder.
Yeah,
He had 57 in the bubble against the Nuggets, and then had another 50-point game in that series. So
I would love Donovan Mitchell. To me, he should be number one target for the Rockets. And if he gets traded this offseason, if Cleveland pulls the trigger and moves on from him, I will be disappointed if he's not a Houston Rocket.
And
it is the most logical destination for him.
there's another and I'll this will be the last kind of point I make on this, is that there's another thing working maybe in the Rockets' favor. It's definitely working in Donovan Mitchell's favor. It's the fact that when he got traded from Utah to Cleveland, he was signed for 3 years, so he really didn't have a say in where you can't exert the soft pressure of, you can trade for me, I'm not re-signing though, and that's how you weed out teams that you don't want to go to trading for you. Now he's going into his last year on his deal, so whoever's trading for him has 1 year of contract, and then he is a free agent. So that is when you can play the I'm not resigning. So if you want to get 1 year of Donovan Mitchell, go for it. And so that could at least theoretically work in Houston's hands if Donovan Mitchell were to exert that kind of pressure and say, you know what, I'm only going to resign in 3 places, and one of them's Houston. That really helps the Rockets.